welcome back to my studio again. We're having a lot of fun here today. And anyhow, we're going to, I'll give you my name first, Dick Ensley, and I live in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. But what we're going to do today, we're going to do a little oil painting, but we're going to do it in steps. I'm going to show you different stages. The painting has to go through stages. And one of the free art lessons we talked about was organize and plan your composition. Okay, so we've done that already. And this is the composition that you see here is the one we're going to paint. But we're going to do it in stages. First thing I'm going to do basically, and I've already done basically a value sketch of it. We're going to leave that alone. But I'm going to take and show you how to go through the stages of oil painting. Now I've got a book I've written called Painting the Illusion. I go through all those steps. But here we're going to show you some of the ways that you can do it and cut some of your time and learn how to paint. First thing I do, I've already laid out the composition. I've got it here. This is over in Townsend, Tennessee, just as you approach the Great Smoky Mountains. A beautiful scene today. But what we're going to do here, and I'm going to do basically a value sketch in one color. When I go out to paint landscape, plein air, I basically use cerulean to sketch. So let's start that. And these paints I'm using are very fluidy. They've got beautiful color. They're basically the Charbon. They're excellent paints. They hold their color. When they dry, they're very similar to what you see right here. Okay. Now I use these. I like the long bristles on my brush. Okay. Called the flats. They have the long. Don't get the shorter ones because they're going to wear down the short. Get as long as you can. And you get a nice chisel edge on these. Okay. Now when you first start sketching, do what I call just gestural things. Look at it. Look for your horizon, which is right about here, and very lightly draw it. And even if you're just pretending you're drawing it in your mind, play with the canvas a little bit. Don't make a statement until you're ready. And then when you do it very lightly. Look for shapes. Look at the shapes here. This barn falls in a triangular shape, okay? Then there's rectangular shapes within that. Then there's another rectangular shape here. There's another rectangular shape here. These are all rectangles here. Look at the clouds here. You got rectangle here. You got a rectangle. You got a triangle here. You've got ovals here. So all these shapes. And what you're looking for is shapes. Okay. And I like to use this color because this color, especially in the summertime, blends with every color that you see in summer, with the greens, with the blues, with the yellows. Okay. Now, basically, I want to place this. Put the center. Now, this is called what you call a geometric center right here. Don't ever place anything geometrically in the center. Put it to the left or to the right. It's much more interesting. It's called a visual center. This barn here, you wouldn't want to put that barn right in the center. It would be very boring. Put it off to the left, right over here. Right about there, okay? You have to draw a little triangle first. And then put your shapes into the triangle, okay? Watch your perspective. Okay? And all of a sudden, before you know it, you'll have this composition drawn on there. Now we're going to do this rapid. I would spend, if I was out painting in the morning, especially early in the morning, I paint about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the summer. I might take an hour just on this step. Because if you'll take your time on these steps, the rest of it goes a lot easier. Much quicker. Now there's a difference between an artist and a painter. A painter paints, an artist draws. But you should have some drawing skills. Don't neglect that. See, this goes down. Now look, here's a triangular right here. This whole field here is all in a triangular shape. Right about there. Then let's start here on the top. Look at the tree lines back here, okay? Follow the lines. Follow the lines. You know the old thing, follow the money, you'll find out where it goes. Well, follow the lines here. Now your composition, a good composition will fall within a triangular shape too. You've got a triangular shape here, You've got one here, so you've got one cutting across the other one. Let's keep this one a little bit lower here. And this one we'll put way up here. We'll make this even a little higher than it is. Let's draw it in. Very lightly. As you get into it where it gets dark, if it gets dark, go a little darker. I like these. These are the Pro Stroke brushes. Very nice. They wear good, especially the way I paint. I do a lot of scumbling. You'll like the way they hold up. Barn's got that barn. These old barns, all the roofs have gotten crooked and different angles. But you still need a little bit of perspective to show those here. And if you can't figure out the angle, these are called planes, not airplanes that fly. These are planes. That's a plane. That angle there's the angle. Now look at how the angle changes here. Okay, see? The angle here. See? Use your brush for that. Tell you, these little free lessons online, I've watched several of them from friends of mine, and I tell you what, they're wonderful things. You can learn a lot from them. Okay? Well, let's take a little bit bigger brush here. We've got enough information here. Let's just kind of scumble in some values. Okay, we're going to do basically a value sketch here. Okay, let's take a little bit heavier brush. Okay. And now we're paint dry. I'm not using any terps right now. Okay. We'll do that when we get into the color so we can change our color. But right now we're just painting. Now let's scumble in some darks. See where the darks are? Take the side of your brush, scumble. This is called scumbling. It's a nice technique. Puts in the values for you. Don't skip around. Follow the way it goes. Follow the lights. Follow the darks, the middles, the lights. Okay. These brushes get better as they get worn a little bit. Now that line there, that I will probably bring that line, that light, it's called backlight, down just a little bit below that ridge there, for composition sake. And this is choices that you have to make when you go out to paint. You know, if you don't like a tree there, take it out. Now, painting starts out very mechanical. There's a lot of study that's got to go into it, but then you end up in the creative part of it. There's a certain kind of rhythm that'll start in your painting as you get into it. And even in this, now I enjoy going through these steps here, okay? I could sit and do these forever, and I'll show you how to do a tonal painting here in a little while. Bring that way up here. These paints are very nice to use. They go on nice. They paint just as well as they do when you're doing this. Like I said, this is called a tonal, or a value sketch rather, basically. Putting in values, darks, middles, and lights. Keep in mind, what do values do? Values establish the form of the object. So a value shows you what it looks like. Intensity goes back and it comes forward. It's called color perspective. If it goes less intense, it goes forward to the back. If it comes more intense, it comes forward. Dark, 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 dark. Let's get into this barn a little bit here. Let's take a little smaller brush here. Just kind of get in here. Whoops, don't want to get too much paint on there first. I'm going to show you how to go through this. We'll do this in stages. Okay, there's a shadow comes down through here. And we talked about shadows. Shadows are always a complement of whatever color that. Say the barn is red, you'll see it'll cast a green shadow. But when it mixes with another color, it's going to more likely gray. So get into those clouds just a little bit here of that color that in the background. See all this beautiful cerulean color. Just doing this in one color right now. You got those mountains in the background here. Let's put them in quickly. I don't know about you guys out there, but I'm having fun with this. And I'll tell you what, these different steps of painting, you can enjoy them and have a whole lot of fun with them. See, I brought this down a little bit past the roof of that barn too. These darks. Okay. Let's go a little bit further than this. I want to show you real quickly before we stop this, and we'll continue. You want to see what white really looks like. This is a permalba white I'm using here. I also use a Charbon, but I like the permalba and the two. But here's what white. See how white that is? Let's put a little bit of that, just to put a little bit into the clouds here. See how much whiter it is in the canvas? Brings up the value of the canvas just a little bit here. So you can go a little bit into here and bring that color down a little bit. And we have one little area that I kind of missed here, this little spot right in here, little light spot, see it right in there? This little spot, I just put it back in there. And this here basically comes down past our roof line, so that's got to be light right through there. Okay. Now, let me show you one thing. Just before we stop this, we're going to do a reconstruction. I'm going to do it just on the barn and show you what happens. Mix yourself a very dark color, say an ultramarine and alizarin, and go in here wherever you see it where it's dark, go dark. Now watch what's going to happen here. Dark, dark, okay. Goes not quite as dark back there. Out here a little bit. Dark in there, goes down. Not quite as dark here. Up here, very dark here. Comes down. See what's happened? This is called reconstruction. I missed this a little bit. See, this has got to come over here. So this is when you reconstruct your something you miss. You always get a chance to go back on your paintings. So you never lost in them. Okay. But you do this to the whole painting. I'm just doing it in this one little spot just to show you what happens, to give you an idea. And this is your reflection. Your mountain, this background comes right about here, comes down through here, comes in here. Okay. So this is called just a value, darks, middles, and lights. Okay. We'll get into the color in another series, but right now we'll leave it at this. Here again, my name is Dick Ensing. You can look me up at my website, dickensingartist.com. Write me for any questions. I answer all the questions. If you have any problems or you want to know something about a step, it's dickensing@bellsouth.net. Appreciate you coming. Thank you.